Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the classic 1995 cult classic film Clueless, written and directed by Amy Heckerling. Alicia Silverstone plays Cher. You have Stacey Dash. You have Brittany Murphy. May she rest in peace. You have Paul Rudd, who playing Josh, who looks exactly the same as he did playing a character in the mid 90s. It's mind-boggling how he does not age, the vampire that he is. This is hour 37 minutes, very quick. Another classic 90s mall film. Another Christmas film. Again, did not know that this was a Christmas film. We just watched Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We just watched Clueless. Did not know that the two directed films by Amy Heckerling are Christmas films. Not a clue. I also liked how quick the pacing is in regards to her stories, her character developments. Granted, she wrote and directed Clueless, which is pretty neat. Cameron, whose last name I can't remember, wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So it's technically his characters with her direction, but these are her characters with her direction. Very cool. She did some research. You could tell how much that Fast Times influenced Clueless 13 years later. And it's just still wild to me that it was a 13-year difference between Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Clueless. Same director, but it's the same going undercover and seeing how the teens talk at that time period in this area. So Southern California was main staple for both Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Clueless. Primarily, Clueless was in the Beverly Hills area, and Amy did like an undercover bit at one point, from what I've read, and she like saw that there was a lot of grooming that the teenage girls were doing at that time in that area, a lot of maintenance, a lot of grooming, stuff. So she wanted to put that into this film, and it showed that in a lot of the secondary, tertiary, quaternary characters. So it's neat. It was neat seeing that authenticity to it. A lot of these types of conversations, they felt like they were types of conversations that people would actually have with each other. It's very grounded. I liked the taboo type of love interest. What happens when you might start having feelings for your ex stepbrother? How does that work? Ex stepbrother, stepbrother's mom married your father for 5 years, and then they got a divorce. So he's now your ex stepbrother. So how does that work? You lived in the same house for 5 years. You kind of grew up together, but not really, because he was much older than you. Not much older than you. She's what? Alicia plays a character who's Cher is 16 in this film. Paul is a freshman in college, so he's 18, 19 in the film. 3-year difference, big whoop. It's interesting because it brings up types of conversations. There was a plot in the Brady Bunch, I believe, where two of the brother sister mixes started to have feelings for each other. How does that work? You're not blood related, but you live in the same house. So how does that work when you start to have feelings for your step sibling? How does that work? It's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. It's an interesting topic. So the two of them not realizing feelings, and then realizing feelings at the end, and then getting together at the end, and her catching a bouquet at the teacher's wedding, which I thought was adorable. Very cool. I liked the conversations that they have. I like the progression of Cher as a character. She's very spoiled. She's very bimbo. She's very brat. And not the modern 24 version of the word brat, but she is a brat in 95 standards with her technology and driving without a license and stuff. The progress that she makes as a character as the months go on within school, seeing then the betterment of others, seeing that we're better together, wanting to try to help out, wanting to do better for herself, wanting an internal makeover, no more external makeover. We're wanting an internal makeover. How can we do better? And she then starts to get her class involved, and it's neat. It's neat having that character development. It's neat then championing this skater kid who's now in a rehab program, going to his skating event. Breckin Meyer is in this as well. Was Breckin Meyer in Fast Times? No, that was 13 years prior. Breckin Meyer was big within the 90s films. He would not have been a teenager in 82. No. Okay, I take that back. I'll take it back. I love Cher's character because of the progression that she makes, and it's really cool seeing that within such a short time period of a film. It's an hour 37 minutes. That's it. An iconic meme from this film, which is still relevant all these years later, almost 30 years later, 29 years later now, is when she's first driving and she inadvertently hits a garbage pail or something, and she just turns back and goes, ugh. And it's a meme, and we've been continuously using that for various memes that have gone viral. Specifically, which version was my favorite that we've all seen the most of? The driver in the top of the, it says the driver in Final Destination 2 when the logs fall off his truck. And it's just funny. It's a funny meme when you have these funny car memes, the Umbrella Academy meme of Five and uh Victor when Victor was portrayed as Vanya passing, and it's just it's night shift seeing day shift kind of thing. It's just it's funny when pop culture turns into a meme and you can use the meme to other things, and it's really entertaining, specifically when you watch one thing referencing another meme referencing something else, and you're like, bro, there's 3 levels of meme right now. Like, memeology is like insane in regards to cultural aspects represented in a meme. Cultural significance, this particular film. I'm curious if this has been accepted into the National Film Archives, because Fast Times at Ridgemont High was accepted into the National Film Archives, in regards to cultural relevance, cultural importance, aesthetically, culturally, etc. Right? But that's 82. I'm curious if this film from 95 was accepted, because this is another example. You have your modern teens doing modern teen stuff with their tech, with their clothes, with their slang, with their music, with their fashion in this particular Southern California area. We're going to the mall, enjoying the social networking. That is the mall. The rest in peace. That mall doesn't exist anymore. I don't think so. And it's just a time capsule piece. I talked about how relevant, Fast Times is, specifically being a time capsule piece. This is another time capsule piece. And I'm watching this and I'm like, bro, like, so many films have been influenced from this. And then circling back, so this was influenced obviously from Fast Time. So I'm curious then, watching things and circling back, because I know Amy was very influenced from other projects from the 70s and 60s in regards to teenage high school parties, which I have not seen all of them. So I want to circle back now. I want to see what is inspired from what to what to what, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I'm watching this and I'm watching Cher do something and she's saying as if and things like that, and I'm like, bro, that's a Regina George moment right there. But then on the flip side, Mean Girls was way after that. Mean Girls was 2004. Mean Girls was 9 years after Clueless came out, which is based then on a book itself. So it's very interesting when you watch a project and you see other characters being influenced from that moving forward. It's interesting watching a project, watching how it was influenced from things before it. It's all about progress. That's how life is. It's just the past happened, it brought us to the present, and what are we learning now to bring us to the future? It's cool. It's cool when you start to see these things. It's cool when you start to see these. I can't even think of the term. Trials and tribulations is not the term. It's what's coming to mind, but it's not the term. It's cool when you start to see these things that most people don't see, because you're paying attention to things and you're like, wow, why can't everybody see it this way? It would be so much simpler. But simpler for whom? It's a good question. Clueless, wonderful film, which had a 3-season TV series following this, with different actors playing some of the characters. I'm curious where I can watch that. At some point, we'll watch the Fast Time show. At some point, we'll watch the Clueless show. But I wanted to keep up with this little mini marathon before we start our Texas Chainsaw Marathon a few days from now. I'm excited about that. Spring on the spooky season. Has Clueless been a musical? Like, was it a stage production? If it hasn't been, it should be, because it has all the boxes checked off. And what I love specifically about this too, as well, is that the first main plaid, white and yellow plaid suit and skirt that Claire wears is the poster outfit. It's like the iconic. Everybody knows that is Claire's character moving forward, but she only wears it once in the beginning of the film, and then that's it. She wears her other outfits throughout the rest of the school year, kind of a thing. It's neat. It's neat when, like, the first impression is what matters the most, right? It's all about the book cover. It's all about that appearance. It's all about the aesthetic. And then eventually you work on your insides and for the betterment of tomorrow. Clueless, 1995 cult classic film. Thank you, Amy Heckerling, for another wonderful production. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.